services that Jannah need, right? So Jannah has a front-end container that would be deployed. Jannah has a middleware container that would be deployed. The front-end container is a VueJS application. The middleware container is a Django application. But in order to do that, we have Ansible Playbooks here. These playbooks have roles. So here is our Jannah end-to-end role. And we have a molecule infrastructure here where molecule will do a cleanup. It will do a destroy. It will do a create. And then it will prepare whatever was created. So, and in the converge stage, that's where we would actually deploy the dependencies, right? So let's take a look at the converge stage here. So here's our task. These are all the tasks that Ansible is about to run as part of our demo. Let's take a look at the converge. Right, so if part of our converge, we would have to deploy Kubeflow. We would have to deploy MetaMost. We'd have to deploy Postgres. After those three pieces of software have been deployed, then we would come and actually deploy Jannah itself, okay? So let's get started. So I'm gonna go into make file. So I'm gonna do a make clean. So I say make clean, make clean. What this will do, it will blow off this existing infrastructure we have. It will destroy all of this so that we can create brand new infrastructure that will then provision to run Jannah and all of Jannah's dependencies. Okay, so let's see, it's still cleaning. Let the make clean run, and then I'll do the subsequent command to actually deploy Jannah's dependencies and Jannah itself. So we're doing a make clean right now. Let that run. Let us see. Some tea. Okay, so we're doing a cleanup. This will wipe out any VMs that we have created previously and destroy any infrastructure we already have. That way we can make room for new infrastructure to be created. And within that new infrastructure, we will then deploy new services and our actual application and prepare for user interaction. Okay, so what it's doing now, it's deleting our virtual machine. So if I go and if I say multipass ls, okay, so it's destroyed. So we don't have any virtual machines now because it's just destroy it. We would then recreate it in the next step. Okay, so we've done a cleanup. So we've wiped out the previously established infrastructure. So the next command is, I'll say make term converge. Okay, so what this will do, it will do an end-to-end deployment for Jannah. It will create a virtual machine. Within that virtual machine, it will create a Kubernetes cluster. Within that Kubernetes cluster, it will deploy Kubeflow, right? So Kubeflow here. It will deploy Kubeflow that Jannah needs. Jannah needs all of these toolings you see here. So all of these pieces of software that Jannah depends on will be deployed. And then once those are deployed, Jannah itself will be deployed, and then we'll take a look at that, okay? So let's do a make converge. So part of what it does right now, it takes secrets, basically Docker passwords, GitHub passwords, all the sensitive passwords that we have. It encrypts them. It stocks them into an Ansible vault. So in our playbook, we don't have exposed, sensitive data within our logs, right? So that way we can run our end-to-end script and not have to worry about logs containing passwords or any such thing, right? So what it's doing now, it's creating a virtual machine, right? So if you go to multipass, I do ls, multipass ls, I see that it's starting to create this Jannah operator virtual machine. and it's an Ubuntu 22.1 image. So let's go. It's still creating that machine. That machine is still getting started. Okay, so that machine is up and running now. It's been assigned an IP address, but it's running locally on my laptop here as part of this demo. But this cluster could be on a public cloud somewhere. It could be on a private cloud somewhere. As long as you have the Kubernetes kube file to that cluster, you should be able to point to it and run the operator against it. Right? So, okay. So at this point, we've got a cluster. We've got an Ubuntu virtual machine up and running. We've mounted our local directory here. So this directory contains the code for the operator into our virtual machine. We're initializing our LXD environment. So actually, let's take a look at the actual play. So right now, we're running this play here. So this is part of our create play. So here's our task. We're in the create stage of our deployment. We're creating a multipass virtual machine. Specifically in that virtual machine, we're initializing our LXD environment. So this is all the way here. So we're at this step right now. Okay. So once LXD is initialized, we're installing our Chamcraft. So Chamcraft is how we basically craft our charms. And charms are basically fancy names for operators that are written in Python. So it's installing Chamcraft right now. Let that go on. Let me take a sip here. Okay, so what it's doing now, it's at this stage. It's completed this task here. So it's starting this other task. It's installing micro Kubernetes into our local virtual machine. Okay, so we need a Kubernetes cluster installed into our local virtual machine. And on that cluster, we will then deploy our Jannah dependencies and Jannah. Okay, so let it install Kubernetes. Okay, well, it's doing that. Let's take a look here. So if you're not familiar with Molecule, what Molecule is the way to say, I want to have my Kubernetes environment from scratch. So I'm going to create what I call scenarios. So each one of these is a scenario. So there's a cleanup scenario, there's a create scenario, there's a destroy scenario, there's a converge scenario, there's a prepare scenario, there's a verify scenario. So the first step is it does a cleanup, it destroys things, it creates brand new infrastructure. After it creates them, it prepares them. So what that basically means, it creates whatever user account or